Hi, Arcfieldweather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday morning, August the 28th. Well, as was the case a couple of days ago on Monday, the most active regions in the nation will be the northeastern states and the northern plains later today and tonight, both associated with cold frontal systems that have been moving from west to east across the northern states during the past few days. Very humid air has pushed back into the mid-Atlantic region, and it'll become hot today with temperatures in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City well up in the 90s. Can be some isolated thunderstorms this afternoon, but I believe the highest threat of thunderstorms will come from later this evening into the overnight hours, and certainly any storm later today or tonight in the mid-Atlantic region or the northern plains for that matter can reach strong to severe levels. Let's take a look here at the latest radar loop across the eastern Great Lakes, the mid-Atlantic, some of the northeastern U.S. And here is kind of that area to watch for over the next several hours associated with that cold frontal system, now causing some thunderstorms over the eastern Ohio Valley. Some of these will make their way across Pennsylvania, for example, over the next several hours, but I don't expect widespread showers and thunderstorms through much of the day in certainly not the eastern half of the mid-Atlantic region, which includes the I-95 corridor region. Kind of coming in two waves today. Possible scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, and then more than likely the highest threat will be later this evening into the overnight hours. But again, this is an area to watch, and we'll see this advance to the south and east over the next few hours. Well, here's the outlook by NOAA's Storm Prediction Center for the probability of severe weather later today and tonight. And again, two areas of concern, the mid-Atlantic region and the northern plains, both associated with cold frontal systems. That cold front, you kind of can tell by the way this is oriented here. The frontal system will end up lying in this fashion and dropping slowly to the south, and it'll stall out just to the south of the mid-Atlantic region, while in the southern mid-Atlantic region during the next couple of days, while it turns cooler following the frontal passage on Thursday and Friday. It'll remain somewhat unsettled because of that stalled out frontal system nearby. Another cold front will cause some scattered strong to severe thunderstorms later today and tonight. This frontal system is moving from west to east, and it will continue to move to the east and cause some showers and thunderstorms in the mid-Atlantic region as we begin the upcoming Labor Day weekend. Well, let's take a look at last night's Canadian model run. This is the 0Z run by the Canadian model, the conventional version. And I'll tell you what, we have a very nice air mass pushing into the Great Lakes region, the northeastern states, early next week, right in time for Labor Day. It'll arrive in New England, in the mid-Atlantic region, on Monday, Labor Day, and it'll stay very comfortable with low humidity levels right through the day on Tuesday, probably into midweek of next week throughout the northeastern states. But for today, hot and uncomfortably humid up across the mid-Atlantic region. Again, high temperatures this afternoon, well up in the 90s in D.C., maybe the upper 90s in D.C., low to mid-90s in Philadelphia, New York City, with plenty of sunshine. Isolated thunderstorms this afternoon, more widespread thunderstorms likely later this evening into the overnight hours. But here is that hot and humid, kind of a one-day surge of heat and humidity for the mid-Atlantic region. Then that frontal system kind of settles slowly down to the south over the next 24 hours, kind of stalling out over the southern mid-Atlantic region. So it stays very warm on Thursday, for example, in D.C., but probably some 10 degrees cooler than today. Instead of the upper 90s, maybe the upper 80s tomorrow afternoon in D.C., possibly confined to the 70s up across Philadelphia and certainly New York City on Thursday afternoon. But again, remaining unsettled because that frontal system stalls out across the southern states. But here comes that next cool shot. That frontal system causes some strong to severe thunderstorms later today across the northern plains, continues to move to the east, and by the early part of the upcoming weekend, heads across the eastern Great Lakes, the eastern part of the Ohio Valley, towards the mid-Atlantic region. Expect pretty numerous showers and thunderstorms on Saturday in the mid-Atlantic region associated with that next cold frontal system, and there'll be a secondary front that arrives late in the day on Sunday. This is the midday Sunday forecast map for 850 millibar temperature anomalies. The initial cold front comes through by Saturday night, early Sunday morning in the mid-Atlantic region, but kind of washes out in a secondary, then plows to the south and east and can cause some shower activity late on Sunday into Sunday night, but I think that activity won't be nearly as widespread as what is coming with the initial frontal system on Saturday and Saturday night. But look at this air mass. This is the air mass by midday Sunday across the northern plains, the western half of the Great Lakes, and continues to move to the south and east. Here we are on Labor Day morning, Monday morning, just a widespread area below normal temperatures throughout the Midwest, Great Lakes, and now moving into the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic region, and it'll stick around right into the day on Tuesday and really right into the day on Wednesday through much of the Mid-Atlantic region. This air mass will have normal to below normal temperatures and very, very comfortably low humidity levels. Well, let's now take a look at the upper level vorticity field, and these are areas in the upper part of the atmosphere with spin, kind of a rotation in the upper part of the atmosphere, and that tends to lead to enhanced upward motion down in the lower levels of the atmosphere. The upward motion areas where we look for clouds and precipitation, and in this particular case we have two upper levels features here, one crossing the Great Lakes, and it tends to move in this fashion, and that second vigorous system now sliding across western Montana will move in a general west to east fashion. That system causes some strong to severe thunderstorms later today and tonight across the northern plains, and this system will cause some strong to severe thunderstorms later tonight across the Mid-Atlantic region. Let's now clear these maps and push forward here through the day today. Here's the evening forecast map, and then into the morning hours on Thursday. Now, remember we mentioned that frontal system will tend to stall out. You can kind of see the orientation and kind of a weak wind field in the upper part of the atmosphere, and the orientation is from west-northwest to east-southeast. So that frontal system, it drops in a fashion like this over the next 12 to 24 hours or so, slowly to the south, more or less oriented from west to east, and this stalling out will create some unsettled conditions on Thursday and maybe even into Friday in the Mid-Atlantic region. This is the Thursday morning forecast map. Now let's move ahead into the end of the work week here on Friday. Then we go into the upcoming weekend, and here comes the influence of that next system crossing the Great Lakes on Saturday. And again, I expect probably somewhat numerous showers and thunderstorms in this area ahead of this vorticity maxima on Saturday of Labor Day weekend here. Now let's continue to move forward here. Again, there'll be kind of a secondary push, a secondary cold front. One arrives in the Mid-Atlantic region later Saturday night, and then there'll be a secondary cold front late Sunday night time frame that can cause some residual showers later Sunday night, but not as widespread in terms of rainfall as compared to that initial front earlier in the weekend. And here we go, Sunday night and finally into Monday morning. This is the main push of that cool, dry air, and this whole part of the nation will experience some very, very nice weather conditions Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps from the 0Z Canadian model run. Strong, cool, high pressure across the east central part of Canada as we begin the day here at midweek. And notice this kind of a line here, kind of a broken line of precipitation associated with this incoming frontal system for the northeastern states. Let's move forward here. And again, nothing more than isolated stuff expected this afternoon in the I-95 corridor region, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Not to say they can't be strong, but they should be relatively isolated during the afternoon hours. I think the better chance will come with kind of the second round of showers and thunderstorms for the Mid-Atlantic region. Not only this evening, but even into the overnight hours, that is a possibility. So here we go into the day on Thursday. Strong Canadian high pressure moves from this area this morning all the way to this area by late tomorrow, and that frontal system tends to stall out right around this area. It kind of dissipates and stalls out, and that means unsettled weather conditions will continue on Thursday and even into Friday in much of the Mid-Atlantic region, especially the southern half of the Mid-Atlantic region. For example, D.C. Can expect some Thursday afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, but even up across Philly and New York City, you can get some afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms on Thursday in the somewhat cooler air mass. Now here's that next frontal system cutting across the northern states here by the end of the work week on Friday. And notice again, still unsettled conditions in the Mid-Atlantic region on Friday. And here comes that next frontal system. Again, this will be probably causing some widespread showers and thunderstorms in the Mid-Atlantic, in the Northeast U.S. later Saturday into Saturday night. This happens to be the forecast map for Saturday evening, and that frontal system would just be the first one. Here it is on Sunday morning, but there'll be a second system. You can even see that in this isobar pattern here. Here's kind of an initial cold frontal system, and there is a secondary frontal system right in this area right here. So this initial front, I believe, will be more active than the second one. This one will produce some scattered to numerous showers and thunderstorms in the Mid-Atlantic, in the Northeast U.S. later Saturday night. And then this comes along for late in the upcoming weekend. It may very well have some shower and thunderstorm activity with it, but not quite as widespread, I don't believe, as the initial system earlier in the weekend. Here we are on Sunday night forecast map. That secondary system here can cause some showers, but not the same widespread nature as Saturday and Saturday night. Here we then go into the morning hours and the midday hours on Monday, and finally by Monday evening. And this is just a beautiful air mass in this part of the nation for Monday, Tuesday, even into Wednesday of next week, all backed up, all anchored by strong high pressure over the Midwest by the time we reach late in the day on Monday, which happens to be the Labor Day holiday period. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.